Well, the first thing we have to do is take a picture. So, everybody smile. Can you guys? Marybeth, are you smiling? All right.
One thing I have to say is, this is a dad. Anyway.
He was going to say that my daughter's graduating too, but I'm not thinking about that because I don't want the waterworks to start for me. It occurred to me as I was listening to these eloquent speeches, Brian, you are following professional writers. You know, they write their own speeches. I write my own stuff too, but it's not nearly up to the speed that these ladies have done. So bear with me. We have a saying, actually, you've probably heard this, it's a famous movie line. It is, there's no crying in baseball. Have you ever heard that? Well, we don't adhere to that in the business department. There are a lot of tears in the business department. And the reason is it's really hard. And the one thing I would like to get across to the parents and the brothers and sisters and grandparents and all that, when you think, oh, that's so nice, little Janie did her little business, and that's so cute, I want you to understand that most adults cannot do what these students have done. The college business courses that I taught were not application-based. These students, almost called you kids, these students have started businesses, okay? That's part of the program. Both the business side of the program and the writing side take courage. And Kara, I was pleased to hear you use that word courage over and over in your speech because it's so true. As a writer, you're exposing your feelings. You are completely vulnerable, and that's hard, right? But it's something you love to do. Let me tell you, most of these students don't love business, so we make them do it anyway. So to tell you a little bit about our team, we have 8 coaches. We hire not on credentials, like academic credentials. We hire entrepreneurs. We have 2 with us today. Dave Noss is back there, and Audrey Wilkerson here. They work with your students and love them almost as their own. Dave loves one of the students as his own, literally. So we work with them, and I want to tell you just a little bit about the program and the coaches. So each of the coaches has at least one business. We have some serial entrepreneurs, and so this program is very applications-based. So it's not theoretical. They don't do business plans that they then throw in the trash. The students research businesses. They go out and do market research. You guys remember the OCS, right? Yeah, a lot of tears just happened just now. So they do market research, and then they do something called a 90-day marketing plan, which really kind of kicks the business off. The 90-day marketing plan, let me tell you, that is a tough row to hoe. A lot of students don't get through it, but I've learned recently that there's an alternative reason that we do the 90-day marketing plan. If you guys have seen the yearbook, you've seen a couple of quotes. Apparently, a lot of the students use the 90-day marketing plan as a dating strategy. So. Fantastic. No names, Julia. Okay, so we take them through this first year. They start a business, they launch the business, they market the business, and not to make light of it, it is very difficult. Outside the comfort zone, 100%. Some of our students then go on to just develop that business, maybe even start a second one, and make significant money out of it. The majority of our students, however, take those lessons that they've learned in the business principles, the courses that they've taken, and then they apply them through a professional development course, and then something called platform training. Platform training takes the business skills and it applies them to their author career. You've heard the term no starving authors. That's what we want. In the business program, we also have another saying, and that is you do well for yourself by doing good for others. Brett's dad came up with that. It's stuck. It's such a great description of what our free market system is and what your businesses are. So I talked about courage. Courage, you probably know this, is not the absence of fear. It is an abundance of fear sometimes, and still getting through it anyway. So it can be absolutely terrifying, but you get through it. One of the things that you guys have learned, you have grown. Okay, you know this, you know inherently, okay, I've grown a little bit in these 3 years. I want you, as you go through the next stage of your lives, to look back on some of these hard things that you've done, not just the writing, but the business also. And remember that you have the courage to have gotten through those things. My hat's off to you. So, although there is no crying in baseball. There is obviously some crying in business sometimes. If any of you saw me upstairs, I was a ball of tears as one of my students gave me a card and just said thank you for some of the things. Our coaches just pour in to these students like you wouldn't believe. So congratulations to you all. I mentioned how difficult things are sometimes with doing things you're not familiar with doing. I want to remind you that you will live, okay? So get through. You'll be fine. Some of our students, as I mentioned, go all the way and they start their business and it becomes not just a tiny little business, but it is something. And although that's a minority, the ones who really get going, it's an impressive thing. Let me tell you, these are 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old students who are doing things that people 10, 20 years their senior have a very difficult time doing. Each year, we select one of our students who has excelled in business to come speak and represent the business side of the program. We had many students this year who just did phenomenally well. And yet one stood out among the others. Marybeth Davis is going to come speak. Not yet. I got to brag on you just a little bit. Marybeth started from scratch. She started a house cleaning business, humble beginnings. She started hiring. She started training. She has a training program. She helps other students with hiring employees. Last year, at the end of the year, I'd like to gather just for bragging rights. Hey, how much money did we students, the conservatory, bring in last year? And Marybeth's like, oh yeah. She gave me her number, and I realized, wait a minute, she's over $100,000 now. So it's substantial stuff. So please join me in welcoming a very hard worker, Marybeth Davis.
Thank you so much. Thank you. What does it mean to be a Christian in the business world? This was one of the first questions facing most of us students when we joined the Author Conservatory. Business felt antithetical to the Christian life. I mean, how are we supposed to truly honor God when we were running around chasing money, right? But our instructors were thankfully a few steps ahead of us. They faced this question head on from the very start, and it's changed everything about my view of work. The world's view of business is simple. The bottom line is what matters, and you don't have to look far to see the effects of that in our society. Corporations regularly deceive people to protect their profits. They set wages as low as possible, making a healthy work-life balance impossible for their employees. Some companies aren't even above criminal activity on behalf of the bottom line. It's cold and cutthroat. Profits come first, no matter the human cost. But from the very first lesson of year one in the conservatory, we were taught differently. We were taught that our work is meant to be a blessing both to us and to our society. We were taught that our work is valuable and that we shouldn't undercut our prices out of fear when God has gifted us with worthwhile skills. We were also taught to see our clients as real people, to care about them, and to seek to solve the real problems they face. We were taught to hold our care for people in the same hand that we hold our profits. We were brought back to God's original design for work, and that changes everything. I used to face work in business, not like a cutthroat CEO, but as a timid people pleaser. I was too afraid of upsetting others to truly value my work. As a young teenager, I told parents I was willing to babysit for $5 an hour and I could go lower if needed. Though I'm sure the cheap childcare was nice for them for a time, it was never going to be sustainable. Now, as I run my own cleaning service, I take a healthier, multifaceted approach. I focus on providing top-notch service that's worth charging more for, improving my clients' lives by giving them shining clean homes to do businesses and life in. I get to provide good jobs for some of the hardest workers in my area, paying them well and giving them a healthy work-life balance. And that gives me kind of joy I could never get if I took a minimum wage job at a grocery store. One of our mottos as a conservatory, as Dr. Rear already said, and I'm sure all of you can recite it by heart, is to do well for ourselves by doing good for others. And it truly is possible. Business, as God intended it, isn't dead, my friends. We'll never eliminate all the evil in the business world. This is still a world, after all. But I believe that as Author Conservatory graduates, we are going to be a force of good and to shine a light in that darkness. Money and success are an easily twisted power, but they can be used to uplift that which God loves. As Faramir says in Lord of the Rings, I do not love the bright sword for its sharpness, nor the arrow for its swiftness, nor the warrior for his glory. I love only that which they defend. The love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, but those who have kept money in its proper place as a tool of the Lord have achieved great good for the kingdom. It takes money to support ministries, to feed the hungry, to heal the sick, to raise families. And we've been given a chance to provide that both for ourselves and for those we bless in a God-honoring manner. God is not restrained by our finances. He has used the poor in mighty ways and continues to do so, and we can never predict where life will take us. Our security is in Him alone, never our bank accounts or our own righteousness. But the wisdom we've gained here can be used powerfully for God's glory, and I can't wait to see how that unfolds. In conclusion, I want to share a sprinkling of verses from Proverbs 31 as a blessing. When I read this chapter, I think of all of you and the beautiful things we've gained from our time in the Author Conservatory. These verses about a wife of noble character speak to all of your abilities and virtue, and yes, this applies even to the guys, as rare breed as you are around here. She selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. She is like the merchant ships, bringing her food from afar. She gets up while it is still night. She provides food for her family and portions for her female servants. She considers a field and buys it. Out of her earnings, she plants a vineyard. She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her tasks. She sees that her trading is profitable, and her lamp does not go out at night. She opens her arms to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. When it snows, she has no fear for her household, for all of them are clothed in scarlet. She's clothed in strength and dignity and can laugh at the days to come. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Work with eager hands. Plant vineyards. See that your trading is profitable. Clothe your household in scarlet. Extend your hands to the needy. Fear the Lord, and above all, put your hope in Him. I can't wait to see what beautiful things you do for the kingdom.